Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our teenaging podcast. My name is Nikki, and I'm joined today by
Rihanna
and
Sarah.
Why do you look like that, Sarah?
You always look like we're gonna kill you if you don't say your name.
Every time she looks so disgusted at us. Why? So we just ate KFC. That was good. Thank you.
Technically, only Nikki and I had KFC, and Sarah.
I had dal.
Why? Wait, no, she ate a couple chips.
Okay, but like,
I love dal. Actually, though,
she's an ethnic queen.
dal is so good.
Is it just beans?
No, it's lentils.
lentils.
Oh, what's lentils?
It's kind of like the
Low key, to me, lentils taste like healthy potatoes.
Lentils is like beans, right?
They're in the
they
bean
kind of
family,
like,
yeah.
Beans to me taste like healthy potatoes. So anything that tastes like beans tastes like healthy potatoes.
But all beans are like healthy potatoes.
Yeah.
That's what she just said.
Oh, did she?
Did I?
So like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever bring dal to school?
No, how are you gonna bring dal? Dal is so watery. You can't unless you get like
really?
thick dal. Thick dal is
Thick dal is where
thick
it's
dal
at.
is my favorite.
Chunky
dal.
thick dal.
Oh my god.
I'm missing out a huge
Yo,
portion here.
thick dal. But no, you can't bring it to school because it's gonna like spill everywhere. But like, you know what? Like, you know when you bring like you know when you do your homework and like you get like curry on your homework
Oh yeah,
and like it
that
goes
stain.
yellow. Oh, you're so ashamed.
Yeah.
Look at it, you stare at your teacher's gonna see it.
Yeah.
Worst feeling.
That's the same with me because like I think a lot of Vietnamese food is very watery. Like most of it is basically soup or it's like rice and soup. So I can never bring any of it to school. Like pho, you can never bring it.
Pho?
Pho?
I can't
Just pho?
Get it?
Oh.
What?
She said pho, you.
Pho?
Anyway.
It's a word in Bangla. I connect a faka ase.
What did you just say? I don't understand.
There's a gap here.
Faka means gap. Anyway.
Faka. Sorry, I'll stop. We're gonna delete this part.
No, we
please.
won't.
No, do not keep that in or I will literally shoot you. I'm so
Why? You gotta show your real selves to our audience.
Stop!
An audience of 3 people.
Hey, we have 117 followers.
Rihanna!
When it goes down and this comes out, I'm gonna
This
be
is
ashamed.
why we keep losing followers. Well, we track them very precisely. Anyway. Yeah, dude, I could never bring. I don't really bring Vietnamese food to school.
You do it every day.
No, it's like rice and chicken. That's it. Like that's
Okay,
normal
but, like,
food.
That's still.
It's marinated brownly.
Yeah.
Asian.
Oh yeah, probably. But it's never authentic, you know.
That's true.
Because a lot of Vietnamese food, it smells like fish because we add fish sauce, so it really smells. And I want to bring more, but the stuff I like is quite watery. And yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but do you remember in primary school eating egg sandwiches?
Oh.
Why did egg sandwiches from brown people taste different? Like,
Right?
am I right? Like, I feel like if Rachel were to bring, if one of our white friends was to bring an egg sandwich, it just looked and tasted different. Our ones just, like, it was different. It was
Like
like
flavorless?
I don't know. Our ones were just, they had their own aroma and vibe to them.
Yeah.
And like,
How does egg sandwich have a vibe?
It just does, like a brown vibe. Is egg sandwich a brown thing?
No.
No!
Absolutely not.
I feel
You know,
like
7-Eleven sells egg sandwiches.
yeah, but they just don't hit. They don't hit the way that like a brown made egg sandwich does. Like I don't know why.
And yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Like just being ethnic at school. There's just so many like differences and fun things about it, but also like kind of sad things, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I remember in year 3, I would never bring lunch to school because like I don't know, cause so I came to Australia and then I went went to the school and it was like basically just Asians, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't feel any like I guess like
You didn't feel uncomfortable bringing.
yeah, I didn't feel uncomfortable bringing ethnic food to school because everyone brought basically the same thing like rice and stuff. But like I came to a primary school far away, and it's like people are still ethnic, but not many Asians are there. So when I brought food from like that Vietnamese, and it smelled like fish sauce, a kid in my class like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh!" I never brought it again. And for an entire year, I didn't bring anything, and my teacher was so concerned. So I think from then on, I just ordered my lunch, and I think I wasted so much money because I just ordered my lunch every single day.
How do you afford? Wait,
I don't know.
You just found coins in your couch.
I don't know, but I just ordered my lunch like every single day because I was too embarrassed and insecure to bring ethnic food.
That's me, like, even though, like, our friend group in high school right now is very ethnic,
Yeah.
right? And, like, no one cares.
Yeah.
I still have this, like, consciousness of, like, is that a word?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm still very insecure when I bring out my ethnic lunch. I still, like, put it under the table while I'm eating it because I don't want, like, the smell to go. Like, I don't want people to see, like, just brown goop and rice. Like, if it makes sense. Yes, I still get really insecure, even though you guys literally don't care.
I don't.
Yeah.
It looks nice. Like, I want to eat it. Like, I see
Thanks.
you eating, and I'm just like, that looks really nice.
You should just ask me.
No! Oh, I did ask for your mum's chicken, too.
I am.
I used to buy, like, 7-Eleven sandwiches as well to blend in. Because, like...
Okay, the chicken and avocado sandwich, though, that one is actually good. You can't even lie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good sandwich.
That's a good one.
They're
haven't had
fresh,
it in so
freshly
long.
made.
Are
So-
they?
Yeah. That's what advertised says,
though?
at least.
I don't really bring ethnic food to school just because, like, it's kind of hard for me to, what's it called? Keep it. Like, it's nothing deep. It's literally just because I can't, like, fit in, like, a whole tub of, like, dal into my bag. Usually I just bring, like, a small salad or something, right? So, yeah, like, I just don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, I don't eat rice. So, like, if I were to just bring, like, brown goop, like, I don't know, it would be unfulfilling. And it
Yeah.
would... Also, okay, this is kind of random, but we had this, like, commerce assessment once, and we had to, like, bring, like, food from, like, different cultures and stuff like that, and I brought dumplings. And, like, these are... Pose or just it was like, oh my god, what is that smell? And I was like, oh, I don't know why, but I suddenly felt ashamed. I was like fanning the same. But like they taste so good, and they're my favorite thing. And anybody who knows me knows that I love noodle den dumplings, and that's where they were from. And I was just so sad that somebody had the audacity.
Is it noodle den only?
No.
Okay.
Let's just assume it's a franchise.
No, because my friend, she always brings like ethnic food to school and stuff like that. And like whenever she brings them, like, oh, can I have some? Because it's just like it just reminds you of home, and it's just I just like having it, and it's so different to what you see at school. So everybody like kind of gets to share and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't think anybody's bothered by the like smells or anything because like we're all like majority are brown like we all like sit upstairs at the history classroom. We don't like the outside. So yeah, like nobody's bothered by that. So yeah.
Wow, that's nice. I always assume because like if I bring it in, I'm scared people say, "Is that
Brought.
worms?"
You said bring.
Bro, whatever.
That was such a Nicki move from Rihanna.
Whenever I bring like any Vietnamese food or like noodles, I'm always scared people would be like, are you eating crickets? Is that dog?
Yeah. And sometimes when people ask like, oh, what are you eating? Like the literal translation
Yeah.
of what it is into English sounds so disgusting. Yeah. Like beef soup. Like that sounds so unappetizing.
No, that's not beef soup. That's good.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
There's this Vietnamese dish. I think I told you guys about this, and it's like, it's basically duck organ blood pizza. I'm sorry. That sounds so disgusting. And my cousin really likes it. I've never tried it. I would never, because it is pretty disgusting. But apparently a lot of people like it. I think that's
lamb brain is really good.
Oh, lamb brain is nice.
I've never had lamb brain, but my mom always has.
You should have it.
Pig intestines is okay. Sorry, you guys probably never ate that, but
Yeah, we don't. No pig in this household.
Unless. Just kidding.
Sarah, what are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything. Shut up.
Are you whitewashed? Are you divided with your identity? Is that the next topic?
no.
Oh.
We can make it the next topic. It doesn't have to
Wait,
be
but
in
we
that
talked about
order.
traditions and superstitions. Yeah, do you guys feel like okay, I know I have this feeling whenever like I'm in Australia, I'd feel too ethnic or like too Vietnamese, and then when I go back to Vietnam, I feel too white.
Yeah.
You know, so you never have like two complete wholes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, like you're confused with your identity.
Yeah.
Like you can't be half, and
You feel like in different places it defines you for different things.
Mm.
Like, you know, at school it's like people see you as like, oh, you're Vietnamese or you're Bengali, whatever, right? And then you go like overseas and it'll be like, oh, you're from like the Western world, you're from Australia. And like people divide you like that, and then it gets confusing as to what you see yourself as, right? And like on the light-hearted, like the light-hearted version of this, or like the other side is like I think about things like, what do I want to wear to like my year 12 formal, and I'm like, am I gonna come out in like a full-on like a lehenga, or am I gonna like show up in like a bodycon red dress? Like,
Yeah.
I always think about that because I like, it sounds stupid. It sounds stupid, but I don't want people to think like, oh, all she can wear is like brown clothes. But like I think it's so gorgeous and it's so pretty, but I don't want people to think that that's all I can do. And I think I was talking to Rihanna about this once, and it was like, you know, we have so many opportunities to wear like, you know,
Shari and lehengas.
yeah. So sometimes it feels like,
This is our only chance.
yeah, we have to show people that we can also do Western.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at school sometimes you can be kind of like defined by what you kind of look like. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when you go overseas, you feel like people hold you on this pedestal or think you're so rich because you're from like the
100%.
Western world,
Yeah.
or you're from Australia, when that's really not the case, and they treat you differently.
And they expect a lot more from you,
Yeah.
considering you're from a rich country.
Yeah, like whenever we would go overseas, we would prepare like dozens of gifts just to make sure they don't feel like, oh, you're coming back with nothing, or oh, you're coming back and you're not actually bringing us anything, even though you're from this like really rich place or whatever, which is totally untrue. And like whenever I would go out and see the street food, like if I don't eat it, people think, oh, you're too posh for that. You know, like if you don't eat certain ethnic foods that are seen as like gross or disgusting, they're like, oh, you're too whitewashed to try this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you think that you're better than them. And
Yeah.
stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like you think you're better than them for not doing that, and I felt that when I came overseas.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think like especially when you go to school, it like you're kind of like automatically expected to act a certain way from like where you come from, or like you're presumed to hang out with a certain like group of people.
And like know facts about everything from your culture when people ask about it, and then when you can't answer a question, they like look down and like, oh, you're from there, how do you not know?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think it becomes, I think, like, especially for, like, you know, like, new people, like, that we used to see at school, even, like, you know, when we were in year 7 and year 8, like, you kind of, like, in the back of your head presume where people will hang out and stuff like that. So, like, if somebody's from, like, you know, like, Bangladesh, you just presume that they're gonna hang out with that group of people and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of hard for people to steer and make their own choices on, like, what their identity is when they're already kind of walking into a place where a lot of who they are is kind of presumed. And if you act in any other way, you come off as, like, whitewashed, and people make fun of you for that. So it's always, like, everybody wants you to be 100% of one thing, but it's so confusing when you have to balance those both worlds and find out who you are. Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I always had trouble with that, with, because I always worried that people would think I'm too brown. Like, I don't know why, and then, like, with other people, I get scared that they're gonna think, oh, she doesn't know anything about where she's from, like, she's so, you know, you know, encapsulated by like Western culture, and she thinks it's so cool. She's trying to like ignore who she really is, and then like when I'm at school, I'm like, oh, do people think that like all I am is like a brown girl and I have nothing else to me? You know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard when you're an ethnic kid to figure out who you're supposed to be, because there's always all these assumptions.
Yeah. And I think for me at least, like, I cling on to my culture a lot because I think it's very common among our generation right now, where we grew up mainly in Australia, but most of our a good part of our lives belongs to a different country. So we desperately try to cling on to that language, that culture, those traditions, at the same time whilst like trying to blend into the current culture. Because like besides like the very physical I guess like stuff like ethnic food and clothing, we also have like certain behaviors that are very special to the countries, and like that can't really translate to a different country because obviously those are very different. For example, like I think in Asia at least we're a lot more conservative and reserved and like very modest about like for girls at least modest about our appearance, whereas here it's a lot more different. So parents would bring that mindset and ideology here, and it's kind of hard to battle that. So you still, let's say, want to show that you kind of are ethnic and are respecting your culture, but you also want to, because you grow up in that like a very Australian white society, so it doesn't seem natural to you anymore. Like for me at least, I don't like my mum or my parents at least is very traditional, and they don't like it when girls are like, I guess, wear too revealing clothing and stuff, even though I really don't care about that. And I think so for a lot of women, wearing less clothes could be empowering, you know? So, yeah, like, battling that kind of mindset and ideology is really hard.
I think that, like, even when we do simple things, like, we'll go shopping and we'll try on outfits and stuff, it, like, in the back of your head or, like, in your, like, subconscious mind, you're always, like, thinking, like, oh, like, I don't want to wear something like this because, like, it's too tight and blah, blah, blah. But it's because, like, you've been kind of, like, brought up in that way. And, like, yeah, you might think that, like, it's a nice outfit or whatever, like, but you feel like, but I shouldn't wear it. Because you feel like you're not the type of person that's supposed to be wearing it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to battle that sometimes. And I think, my main thing is, like, with, you know, being ethnic and then trying to, like, figure out who you're supposed to be in the Western world is because you go back and forth from, like, going home and going to school, and it's so different, right? Because, like, I think, at least for me, I act differently in school than how, like, I do at home, because there's, like, certain expectations at home that are different to what it is, like, at school. And even, like, simple stuff like, you know, the language you speak at, like, home and then what, you know, you speak English at school, it's in a basic level, like when you're younger, you know, in primary school, in kindergarten and year 1 and year 2, I used to do like English training and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Because like I was ethnic and they were like, maybe she doesn't know English, because I went to Bangladesh for a year, so they were like, put her in a extra English class. So I went there and we would like, you know, like, we would, like, read and stuff like that. And I was like, girl, I know how to read. That's stupid. Oh, my God. So, yeah, no, we would just read continuously about, like, rabbits and animals. And I was like, why am I here? Like, just because I went overseas? And it really confused me for a while. And I didn't know who I was supposed to be. And I was, like, literally, like, 6.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking about that?
Yeah.
Like,
And I think parents, like our parents, also have that fear of us losing our culture because we live in a Western world now. So like I remember growing up, my mom, just to ensure that I still had the Bengali in me or whatever, she would like sign me up for Bangla school, Arabic lessons, and like join me in Bangla singing lessons and all that, just so she knows that I would always have that in me. But I still think that parents have well, I don't know, maybe just my parents, but my parents have a tendency to overthink that I'm losing my culture in me or stuff like that, and they don't want me to end up like people they see on Facebook who like since moving from Australia they go clubbing, they drink alcohol and all that, and they're like scared of that I will become like that. So they want to ensure that they can do anything they want to ensure that I still remain Bengali.
I want to like hammer in the fact that there's nothing wrong with being like that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I think it's just because like they've been brought up in a certain way,
old-fashioned.
so for them that's like kind of like always been something that's like wrong.
Yeah.
But I think for us, because we've grown up in such a Western world, for us we see it as fine.
Yeah.
Like do whatever you want, and if that makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anybody else, that's fine. It's just kind of hard because sometimes it's about fitting in, and sometimes it's just like you feel like you're missing out on something because you see it everywhere, and you're like, sometimes you just want to be like, I want to know what that's like. You want to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like growing up in an ethnic household, my parents would always reinforce that idea, and they always tell me, or they always reinforce the idea that going out a lot or drinking alcohol, going clubbing, having a boyfriend at a young age is associated with bad behavior, which I don't believe in, because going out a lot doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And then they create this like idealized version of like the perfect Vietnamese girl who like sits with her legs crossed, he doesn't speak too loud, he's very conservative, and he's very reserved, and very family oriented, focused on her grades, become a doctor, whatever. And yeah, I really hate it that they kind of like sometimes associate that with me, or like associate those ideas and like kind of not force, but really like try to I guess mold me into that kind of person, which I understand. Like they grow up in that culture where that was what is seen as bad, and sometimes you can't really control that, but that's not to say that they're not like good parents. I do understand that going out a lot or drinking whatever could lead to bad behavior, but the fact that I go out a lot or something like that, or go home late, doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. And like I can't really talk to my parents about that stuff because we have like a huge language barrier. Like my mom can speak like decent English, so I can communicate with her pretty well, but my dad, who doesn't really speak English that well because he's always overseas in Vietnam, I can't talk to him. Like I don't remember the last time I've had a real, literally like 5-minute conversation with him. It's always the typical when we FaceTime, how are you? Hello, are you well? What are you doing? When you come to Australia? How's work? And he would ask like, oh, how's school? How's the family? Are you doing well at school? And that's literally it. And I would like, what's the time there? Have you eaten yet? That's all the questions I ask, because literally I don't know what else to ask. And I don't know what else to say to my dad, because I don't know how to speak Vietnamese that well, or at least like to keep up with the conversation. I literally have the vocabulary of a 6-year-old, so I can't really talk to him. But I am grateful because my siblings do speak it at really well level, so they do like report back to my dad, I guess, and take photos of me whenever like I do something new, like go out with the family, and they'll report back. So my dad is updated on my life, but I can't tell him directly, and I don't think I've had like a really meaningful conversation with him since I was like a child. I only like good memories, or like the only I guess salient memories we have of each other is when I was like in Vietnam, which is hard because like same with my relatives overseas. When I came over, like I couldn't talk to them about anything. I was literally so quiet, and they thought I went through some kind of transformation because I didn't speak at all, because I was too insecure to say the wrong things in my language. So, language barriers, it's hard to overcome. What's your experience with that? Like, do you guys...
I don't know. I feel like with Bengali parents, I don't know, maybe it's just my parents, but showing, like, having, like, an emotional, meaningful conversation with your parents is kind of rare. Like, I don't think... Sorry. Like, I don't remember the last time, like, I've opened up to my mom, or, like, like, had those conversations or taught about my problems or whatever. Because, language barrier is a thing, but it's also just we don't do that in our culture.
I know what you mean.
Often. And so it can get awkward if you want to have that type of conversation. And even, like, when I go, like, overseas to Bangladesh, like, because, like, obviously my cousins who live there, they're very fluent in Bangladesh. Bengali, Bangladesh. in the language. So when I try having a conversation with some of them, I don't really understand the words they're saying. I don't really understand the jokes sometimes because they speak very fluent, high-tech Bangla.
High-tech? It's just very, like,
me, but when you're, like, people who are, like, really fluent in Bangla will speak it very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
That's literally my cousins. And it's just really hard for me to, like, keep a good conversation with them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, yeah.
I think for me, at least, because I spent a lot of, like, I didn't, like, live, like, on a consistent basis in Bangladesh, but, like, every, like, couple years, or, like, a lot of the time I would go visit there when I was younger. So, in a sense, like, I lived there for a lot of my life. So, I guess, because I was kind of, like, you know, enwrapped in, like, the culture, I got a better understanding of the language. So, I never really had, like, a language barrier. If anything, when I was younger, my, skills of speaking Bangla were, like, even better than they are now. Like, I was really, really good at Bangla. And, I think for my, like, environment, I'm still pretty good. So, like, when I went overseas after, like, 4 years of not going, like, I was pretty comfortable to talk with everyone. And, yeah, like, I didn't find it that hard to, like, kind of keep up with them or anything like that. Because I've never had that issue. Because my parents kind of, forced it into us that we would always have to, like, speak Bangla and stuff like that. And even if, like, sometimes we'd speak too much English, they would, like, play games with us. We're like, okay, for 15 minutes, all we can do is speak Bangla and stuff like that. We would always do that in car trips and stuff like that. Because my mum, like, she wanted us to always remember where we came from. I think, where Rihanna's coming from with the stuff where, like, talking about, like, meaningful conversations, often when, like, I'm frustrated, I can't, like, I don't even have, like, the capacity to even, like, speak Bangla, because, like, I just want to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just want to, like, spill it all out in English, because, like, I don't have the time to even, like, translate it back into Bangla or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'll, like, and most of the time I don't even talk to her about, like, stuff like that, where I get frustrated, because, like, I know that she's just trying to be, like, a good mum and make it into a lesson, but sometimes I just don't want a lesson. I want someone to listen.
Yeah.
So I don't really talk to them about, like, stuff like that. I do talk to my dad more about, like, when I'm frustrated, but it's, like, jokingly frustrated. But for the most part, I keep that to my sister. And I think my sister's on the other side of the spectrum to me, where when she was younger, she was okay at Bangla, but I think as she got older, she struggled more and more with it, and she actually feels, like, really uncomfortable to speak in Bangla for the most part. And when we went to Bangladesh, she hated it because, you know, you're expected to speak Bangla, of course, and everybody knew English, but, like, you know, it was just normal to speak Bangla. And she felt so disconnected from everyone, and all she wanted to do was go home. And she literally would, like, count down the days until we went home, because she felt so, like, she felt like an outsider. She couldn't communicate with anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's similar to what you said, like, I can't, something I say in English won't translate properly in Vietnamese, so it might sound okay, like, perfectly polite in English, but when I translate to Vietnamese, it's, like, pretty rude, you know, so I have a hard time doing that with my parents as well.
Yeah.
And like, the spilling thing, I know what you mean, like, when you have so much thought in your mind, and you've always spoke English so fluently, and so perfectly with how you communicate, it's hard to kind of translate back to Vietnamese, decipher everything, and then, you know, speak it out. So, yeah, you go through more of a filter, if you know what I mean.
Because sometimes, like, they come off, like, different when you put it into another language. Like, there are, like, certain things, and, like, you know, sometimes when you're angry or stuff like that, you use metaphors and similes in your life, like, very regularly, and you won't notice it, right? But then when you actually try to translate those things into a different language, you realize how hard it is to kind of get how you're feeling across, unless you know, like, very high vocabulary in that language. So, like, I struggle with that a lot. And I think I always, like, I do this thing with my mum where whenever, like, I'm trying to think of the word and I can't. Like, I'll ask her about it and I'll try to remember it. So she's always been there, like, whatever. I've had, like, a story to say or something. I'll be like, well, how do you say this in Bangla? And I'll try to remember it. But it's hard because when you're frustrated, your mind is going, like, 100 miles per hour. When you're excited, your mind is going 100 miles per hour. And to kind of communicate how you're feeling into another language can be really hard sometimes. And my parents always joke about how my sister can't speak Bangla well, and I think she actually finds it frustrating, and she doesn't kind of have the urge like Nikki to kind of learn it. Instead, she's had the opposite effect where she doesn't want to at all. Like, she wants to disconnect from it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I feel really bad, honestly, for people who feel ashamed of their culture and feel the need to disconnect themselves, because being ethnic or coming from a different country, I feel like is such a beautiful thing, and to deny that, it's really sad. Like, I know a few people in our school who hate the fact that they come from this country, hate the fact that they're Vietnamese. They would never dare to speak it because I think it's not cool enough, or it's like, I asked them about it, and it's like, oh, it's because Vietnam doesn't have anything interesting about it, or something like that, which is totally BS. Every single country has something interesting about it. But it's sad that they kind of have that experience where they don't feel very connected to it. And like, for your sister, like, I hope in the future she'll be able to reconnect it and find a good relationship with her own heritage, because that's really important. And it's part of your identity, because even though, like, physically, you know, you can tell that we come from a different country. Right. The only thing that we're missing is what's inside, you know, so, like, that part of you will always be a part of you. Like, being ethnic or being Vietnamese or Bengali will always be a part of you. And, yeah, you just have to try to find, like, a good relationship with that in the future. But besides the relationship with your heritage, I think the relationship with your parents is even more important, because, you know, they're the main guide in your life, and they're the ones who is trying to, like, preserve that kind of culture, which can be really funny sometimes, like the traditions and this, like, superstitions they have, and they're usually, for ethnic parents, they're a lot stricter, so I know that whenever we would go out, we have to, like, book a day and then, like, ask, like, a year beforehand. So they can say yes.
Make sure everybody's parents are okay with it. Yeah. Who's going with who, how are you getting dropped off.
Whose car are you in.
Yeah, and in a way it's good, because, you know that your parents, like, they care for you and they just want you to be safe. But it's also, like, it's, like, that thing that we don't have to overthink everything. Like, sometimes I'm just walking to Susanna's house. It's, like, literally 2 seconds away. Like, let's calm down. I'm not gonna die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, before I came here, my mom's like, okay, call me when you get there. Send me a photo. And I had to take a photo of me and Sarah. And they're always like, oh, you can't go out, like, consecutive days in a row.
Oh,
you have to wait a bit and then go out. So it's always the excuse, like, oh, sorry, I went out yesterday, I can't go out again.
And my mom has this weird thing where, like, when I take public transportation to school, it's, like, totally fine. She doesn't call, whatever. But the days I take public transportation on, like, weekends, she's, like, texting me frequently, calling me. She's like, where are you? What are you doing? Like, I don't know. It's just that mindset, I think,
I think it's because they're raised in a kind of dangerous country. Because I know Vietnam, like, you know, kidnapping is a lot more common. Theft is a lot more common, and whatever. So I think that fear has always, like, been carried over to Australia as well. So now they think I'm in danger wherever I go. I mean, I guess. But, like, what are the chances of me getting kidnapped, you know?
Hi.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I know friends, like, we know friends who, like, literally cannot go out at all.
Yeah.
Or go to excursions. Or, like, you know, we have a few friends who can only go once or twice in the summer holidays, which is, like, 6 weeks. Imagine staying at home, or just, like, not seeing your friends for, like, 6 weeks because your parents are too strict.
Or
you
it's
know?
that thing. Okay, this is a little bit off topic, but you know when like you're sick and like you're supposed to be really sad when you're sick. Like if you laugh when you're sick, you're automatically not sick anymore.
yeah.
Or when you get up to like put a piece of clothing away, your mom's like, "Oh, you're feeling better now. You can clean the house. Let's go." Like, no, I'm just like,
You just didn't want to go to school, didn't you?
yeah.
Dude, I can laugh when I'm sick, man. Oh my god.
Like you move an arm, they're like, "Oh, so you're feeling better already? You were not even sick."
Yeah, I started watching TV or like on my iPad. It's like, oh, so you're not like, so you're tired. Like, wait, sorry, you have enough energy to watch that, but not go to school. You know?
Yeah.
Like, so funny.
But it's like my mom's always like, oh, so like you're only sick in certain situations. You know what I mean? Also, like I with the like the TV thing, my mom has this thing where she'll be like, oh, if you watch TV, your eyes will go square. Like, she always thought that. She's like, Sarah, I saw on Facebook. Like, I saw this on everything. Oh my god, half her superstitions are from Facebook. I swear.
Oh my god, my mom gets most of her like beliefs now from YouTube thumbnails. And you know how clickbaity those are. They're like, oh my god, did you know there's a snake with 4 heads? And I'm just like, Mom.
She goes past Jake Paul's YouTube channel. She's like, oh my god.
I think one time my mom saw a thumbnail of like stretch marks and a potato slice, and she's like, "You gotta look, you can get rid of stretch marks with potato slices." I'm like, no.
Yeah, she saw like, okay, so she saw a girl with like big boobs next to like eating potatoes, right? And she's like, Nikki, if you want them, you gotta eat more potatoes. So like when we go out to eat KFC, she would always order me potato and gravy, and I'm just like, that's artificial potato, but that's okay.
Oh, it's funny.
Big boobs.
Anyway, so boobs, I guess. Anyway, so
There's also one thing. My mom is super superstitious around Lunar New Year or like Chinese New Year or like that, whatever. So before the day, she would like, you have to shower, so you make sure, I don't know, something like that. And she's like, oh, you can't cut your hair after New Year's because it's like cutting away your luck that you received. And so it's literally, it's so crazy. It's like, don't clean before the day, otherwise you're gonna clean for the rest of the year. and she's like, you can't be away at school. It just gets really ridiculous. I think she's half joking or something. But it's so funny. It's ridiculous. The amount of superstitions that I receive goes up by like 100 around New Year season. It's so funny. My parents also keep like store plastic bags.
oh, same.
In
We have a whole drawer.
Yes, same.
dedicated to plastic bags.
Literally underneath the microwave, we have a
Mine's underneath the microwave.
Oh my god, a whole ass collection.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's hard to open the drawer now.
Yeah, it overfills, man. You
Yeah.
gotta create a second compartment for that.
And like, you know, like literally my mom would reuse one-time containers.
Same.
Like it's just one time. But she's like, nah, we can wash it, we can reuse it,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm like, okay.
Like they reuse like Chinese takeaway
Oh,
food
yeah.
boxes or literally anything like yogurt boxes, and they
Yeah.
put like,
Oh, for
fish in there,
sure.
and they put like random stuff like
Ice
frozen
cream-
meat.
Okay, listen. Ice cream boxes.
Oh,
that is so cruel.
always,
That is
always,
cruel. Okay?
Always.
I was like, one day it was so hot. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have some cookies and cream ice cream. You know, I open it up, it's frozen meat. It's frozen meat. That's rude, okay? That's literally the cruelest prank of them all, okay?
Yeah.
And they used like biscuit boxes for sewing kits.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
You know, like the biscuit boxes where like it was like all different types of biscuits, and they came in like the white wrapping.
Wrappers?
Yeah. Like the bougie ones, you open it, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a biscuit. Sewing stuff.
Oh,
So sad.
my mom keeps spoons from Yogurtland.
I do that. I have 5 spoons from Yogurtland. They're very cute. You know,
Yeah, they're actually pretty.
they
They're
could be
nice.
sold for a lot. Like, you never know.
Saying that, you're like bouncing. They could be sold.
I keep tags. I don't know why.
Tags?
I keep all the tags to like the clothes I have.
Why?
So, you know,
Why?
I don't know. I have a whole ass collection. Like we're sitting around my bedroom closet right now. I don't know why, but we just are. And I have like a drawer where I keep like this little baggie, and inside there are just the prettiest like tags that I've had over the span of my life.
Why?
I don't know. I
That's
just want to
so
keep.
funny.
I don't know why. I'm a tag collector.
Oh, I keep my toenails.
Get out.
Get out,
Get out.
Nikki.
I'm just kidding.
Bye.
Silent, and you just stared at me.
Rihanna edits this episode and keeps that at the part where she's like, "I'm just kidding."
Oh, that'd be so cool if I did that to you.
Don't you dare.
Watch it happen. Yeah, like, so Nikki's like, "I'm gonna edit this episode." This is I don't know if this is a thing for like all grandparents, but like mine always go on walks after they eat, and they always put their hands behind their backs after they walk. Yeah. Yeah, I know. They always do that. It's just so cute. I love it. My grandma from like my mom's side is like probably one of my best friends. I just love it. Like she's like the best, and like she always makes me my favorite doll. What we were talking about before. She makes the best doll, and she always makes pita and pita, which is like a type of sweet, for me and stuff like that. And it's like I'm gonna get like really big because of her, but like she loves me, so I will eat it anyways.
So cute.
I think that's a thing where like if you go somewhere like for like a party, you have to eat because like, you know, somebody worked hard on that.
And it's considered rude if you don't.
Yeah, so you have to eat. And like if somebody invites you to a party, you have to invite them back to like your house and stuff like that to return the favor. And it just goes on and on forever. So you're always going to some type of event.
Yeah, like whenever stop woeing.
Oh, whoa. But yeah.
Okay. Whenever it's so like that's so relatable. Whenever I go to like another person's house or like a party or whatever, I always have to bring something with me.
Yeah.
I cannot come empty-handed. Hence the chocolate Ritz biscuits. Yeah, I don't know. My mom just hates coming empty-handed. You always come with a gift or something because it's like compensation for them inviting you and their time and whatever.
You know, spending money on the food and stuff like that.
I think that's my mentality now as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I invited them to my birthday party last year, so I have to do it this year. Or like, I was invited to their birthday party, so I have to invite them.
They're friends with this person and that person I talk to sometimes, so now I have to invite them.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like us, like, you know, like for like our sweet 16s are coming up. Well, not Rihanna.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn 15.
She's a baby, but
You can have a quinceañera. It's okay.
That's
oh my god,
quinceañera is 16 years
No,
old.
it's
right?
it's
15.
15.
Oh, watch me turn up.
Okay.
She invites our Spanish teacher back.
Why?
Stop
saying his name. Stop saying people's name out details and shit.
Sorry.
Anyways, our parties are coming up, and it's like, you know, you have that thing where like, oh, do I invite my family? Do I just invite my friends? Because when you're younger, you do it with your family, and then as you get older, you start to like
Have that
separation. So Nikki was just laying on her lap. I don't know what was going on.
Every episode it says that, oh, Nikki and Rihanna just started holding hands, Nikki and Rihanna making out.
I'm sorry, I think something's going on, honestly. We support.
What can I say?
But yeah, no, that thing where you like, as you get older, it becomes like, oh, do I invite my family, or, you know, do I just do it with my friends? And like now that it's like our sweet 16, it's like that thing where it's, oh, this has to be rememberable and stuff like that.
Rememberable.
Do you okay, this is so off topic, but do you remember? Sorry. Do you remember when when we were in primary school? I would always say Remember or something. I wouldn't pronounce R's. Like I would only say like remember when this happened.
Yeah, so
I don't know why I did that, but like literally Rihanna hated me for that. She's like, shut up. Like she hated when I did that. Also, that was the time where she had like a Frozen phase and she wouldn't stop singing Let It Go.
Shut up! That's so. You know how like when you pray, like you know when you pray, and you make a wish for yourself at the end.
Yeah.
I always wish to have Elsa's power.
Oh my god, what I used to, again, so off topic, but what I used to do is write down my wishes. I'll be like, I wish I was a mermaid, and then I'll bury it in my back garden, hoping that it will come true.
Aw, that's
Obviously,
so
it never
cute.
did.
Yeah, I never got those powers.
Oh my
It's kinda
god!
rude.
Before
Never
we
got
had the
to become a
OC
mermaid.
test, we had the OC test, and it's like a test you do in year 4 to get into like a smart people school. I failed. Anyways, so I was really dumb in primary school. I'm not even gonna lie. Anyways, so I was like studying for the test or whatever, and I was like, oh, I really hope I pass. So I wrote down on like a piece of paper, I love OC and I want to pass, and I scrunched it up, and then I held it to my heart, and like I kept it there while I studied the entire time.
Aw, that's
It didn't
really
work.
cute.
I didn't go. So you know what I mean. But it's a thought that counts.
Do your parents ever made you believe in Santa or like the Tooth Fairy?
We're Muslim, man.
Oh my god, yeah, when I was younger, right, everybody was like celebrating Christmas, and I was like so envious. I was like, oh my god, I want a Christmas tree so bad, I want to decorate it. And like I remember I was walking to Aldi with my mom, and I was like, oh mom, can we please get a Christmas tree? I want to decorate it. And she's like, no, we're Muslim. And then I was like, but can we get a small one? Then she's like, no, we're Muslim. And I was like, can we get one for my Barbie? She's like, no, we're Muslim.
Oh my
And
God.
I remember walking to Aldi like literally on the verge of tears. I was so sad.
I think I broke a lot of white people's hearts
Why?
because from a very young
Santa's
age.
not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, because from a very young age, I was like, my parents told me, you're Muslim, we don't do Christmas, Santa's not real, it's all
Oh,
Christian
okay.
things, right?
Right.
So, like, in year 1, year 2, like, in primary school, I'd always tell white people who go to South for Christmas, you know Santa's not real? And they'd literally be like, what do you mean? And they go all red and start crying. And I wouldn't feel bad.
You'd be like, I'm breaking the news.
Yeah,
What
no.
the hell, Rihanna?
No, I wouldn't feel bad because I thought everyone knew that Santa wasn't real. Because I just thought,
You know what? Because you know,
yeah.
I remember when we were in primary school, and like, you know how like Santa would come to like our primary school. Like we had like this. I think we had like a link with some type of like reading corporation or something like that, and they would come and like give us like books every like Christmas, right before like the holidays started. So like this one time, like the Santa came for like the second year in a row or something, and I was talking to Rihanna. I think you were in like year 2 or year 4, somewhere around there, and we were just like, oh my god, can you believe that people believe in Santa? Like, are you kidding
me
me?
and Sarah were those kids.
Like
on
we were
Christmas
like,
time.
they don't even know. Like, you know why? I was just like that because I was sad that at a young age I didn't get to decorate my Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And now I always have a small Christmas tree on my side table. It's there right now, right next to my Captain America bobblehead.
I see it.
You know,
Okay.
because I'm trying to relive those moments. And you know what? This year I have plans. Okay, I'm gonna decorate my room for Christmas. Okay, I'm mixing it up.
Oh my god, I remember in year 6, it was near Christmas time, and I came to school, and like 2 of my friends from my friend group gave me Christmas presents, and it was like real Christmas presents, like $40 from Toys R Us,
Oh.
right? And I'm just like, fuck, because I didn't get them anything,
Yeah.
because I didn't believe in Christmas, right? So I felt so bad because it's like they gave me all these presents, and I just didn't care about the tradition. But I think now it's changing a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a whole ass Christmas tree. Well, she
Oh, yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it was so cute.
It was.
My mom knitted the ornaments and everything.
Yeah, it was really nice.
The sewing kit from the biscuit jar.
Full circle moment, honestly.
So we're at the end of our episode. We hope you guys enjoyed this topic about being ethnic in a Western world.
I think that overall, sometimes it's hard to like scope who you are when like you're balancing out the origins of where you come from and what you're supposed to be in the future when you grow up and you go to school and you mix with other people. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember what do you value and what makes you you is up to you to decide, and you shouldn't rely on others to define who you are or what their judgment call is. So yeah, we hope you like this episode. It was a little bit more like lighthearted. It had its moments as well. If you still believe in Santa, do your thing.
Yeah. Go get them candy canes.
She's so cool.
Anyway, we'll catch you guys next episode.
Oh, and pull out your teeth and put it under your pillow. I actually did that once. I never got money. Just got rotten teeth under my bed next night. Anyway.
Just before we leave, I want to say, follow our Instagram, which is the Teenaging Podcast, our YouTube, the Teenaging Podcast, our Twitter, which is the Teenaging Pod, our anonymous message thing. I don't know, it's pink. I never know how to pronounce it, but you'll find it on our Instagram. It's at the Teenaging Podcast. So yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
If you have any comments about this episode, just leave it in the post on Instagram and we'll check
or you
it
can
out.
message us
Yeah.
on Instagram and we'll reply back.
Yeah.
Trust me, we have a lot of time too.
Yeah. Probably on our story or something.
Yeah.
Bye.
Or wave at the mic.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.